Hey, what's up? So we got a 2013 Ford Ranger T6 model. Customer complaint that we have some lights on the dash and he's not sure exactly what they are and what they're about. So let's see if we could dive into it. Yeah, this customer said that he got the engine check light on and the ABS, right? So let's verify customer complaint. Alright, you see we got the check light on and we also got the ABS light on. Okay, so let's switch this off. Right, he mentioned that they replaced the front wheel bearing 3 times, right? I believe they took it out, replaced it. It was the wrong one. I mean, it's a whole lot of, things that came with it. But I'm gonna basically start it over, right? So let's verify the customer complaint using the scan tool and see exactly what's going on. He did mention it's coming from the front right. So I mean, if they changed both bearings out, I believe it would have also, flag on the left side also, right? Okay, so we're getting some lights on the faults on the ABS, the BCM, PCM, and TCM, right? So on the ABS, we got the front wheel speed sensor, continuous, C0034. We got a PCM fault, we got a U2300, data invalid from the braking system control module A, right? So that have to be the ABS module up in front on the left side, right? So this is TCM. We got a U0415 invalid data received from the ABS control module. So the both PCM and TCM is complaining that the ABS is not sending the correct information, and this is on the CAN line, right? Not the medium CAN, but the high and the low CAN, right? Pin 6 and 14, right? So is it a network fault? I don't think it is, because I'm getting access to these modules, right? Well, it could be a module fault or ABS or just, sensor, I guess. Let's go in and look at some live data while we drive the vehicle. Read data stream. Okay, so we're gonna pick the inputs, right? Let's look at the inputs here. The traction control, the traction light is off, so that's good, right? Let's pick all the weed sensors and the inputs. Let's press OK. Let's graph this. I like to see this graph and what's going on. So let's start the vehicle up. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got the, right now it's saying 0 because I'm not driving at all. So let's reverse. Put the handbrakes down. So let's take a look at all the data that we are seeing. So right now I'm reversing the vehicle. So right now I'm seeing everything, it's close. Let's look at the right front wheel. Let's go to drive. So it's reading. I mean, he's definitely reading. So that means I'm getting power from that ABS sensor. So is it that the sensors out of range or something like that? I'm not sure. Let's go a little faster and see what's going on. Okay, let's stop and take a look at this and see what's going on. So it looks like the front right wheel speed sensor is moving a little faster, or reporting a little bit more information speed than the rest, where is at 25 kilometers per hour. The rest was like 22. So is it that we have a sensor that's faulty, or is it that it's coming from the the module. Like he's reading something incorrect or sending an incorrect signal. Although this, I believe these sensors create its own voltage. Yeah, so what I'm seeing here is definitely that the front wheel sensor is, you know, doing something fishy. And if you look at my inputs, is reading while the others are lower than this front right here. These here reporting the same. This one also, and this one is higher. So we definitely have a issue when it comes to this sensor. As I said, I don't think it's anything to do with power and ground, but it could just be, you know, as the code said, it was like faulty data. I've been running this vehicle to see exactly what's going on with this ABS light and fault. Right, so the check light is on still. Okay, so the ABS kind of trying to get out this glare. Right, so we definitely have the check light on still. Right, but when you're driving, you actually hearing like a bearing noise. So I'm not sure if the ABS is at fault or it's just reading a loose bearing, I guess. So when we get back to the shop, I'm gonna, you know, jack this vehicle up and check that wheel bearing and see if there's a faulty bearing that's causing this ABS sensor to trigger that fault. Right? I mean, I'm seeing that the sensor is clearly getting power and signal and is doing what it's supposed to. It's just like 5 to 7 kilometers per hour off, right? So is it that it's a fake? I'm not sure what exactly was done, right? But I've never saw a sensor act that way. It's either be an open circuit or it's not working or something like that. Never like a calibration problem, unless it's a imitation sensor that was installed. But as I said, man, I'm hearing a heavy roll. I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit so you can listen to what I'm hearing. Right now is on the highway, so kind of hard to pick up that noise, but you're hearing a heavy bearing noise.
1 hour later.
What I'm gonna do next is a visual on this front right speed sensor and see exactly what's going on, right? See if someone is poking around. And I saw this harness was like, you know, out. So I'm not sure exactly who was here before, right? But it looked like someone was definitely here and probably probing around, right? So let's take a look at the left side, right, and see what's going on. This look like it's intact, right? This look like the original harness, right? Next check we can do is under the hood. You know, we can get under here and look at the ABS module. It's right here. We're gonna pull out the multimeter, make sure that we're getting voltage on the ABS, right? I believe we are, right? So let's do some checks and I'll let you know what I'll get. So I'm getting 50 millivolts, 16 millivolts on the purple wire, and I'm getting 11.7 on the gray wire. So let's check the left side and do some comparison. I'll probably check the rear also and see what's going on. I mean, all those ABS sensors are supposed to be operating off the same voltage, right? They're made up in the same way. So let's do some checks. As I said, I'm going on this yellow wire right here. Right, let's see what we gain. Again, 134 millivolt. So why am I getting low voltage on these in comparison? I'm getting 11 volts on this side. So that's a whole, almost a volt different on that side, right? So let's check the rear. I gotta go in the van. So everything looks good with the sensor. What I did, I tried to swap the left and the right, but it wasn't working out. So I just, you know, replaced the right sensor back on the original way. Okay, but everything looks good. I'm not seeing exactly why the sensor is reading off. But before I make any calls, I'm gonna go after this spindle right here, and do some inspection on the bearing and ensure that they did everything they supposed to do, right? As I said, man, it's kind of hard to diagnose this vehicle when it comes from other shops, and you get that information from the customer because they themselves don't know what it was done, and the information lacks. But I'm gonna do my due diligence and take apart this spindle hub right here and look and see exactly if something was probably causing the sensor to read incorrectly, right? So let me take this off and then I'll let you know exactly what I found. Let's remove the front spindles off this truck. So I'm going to do some bearing inspection and see exactly why this vehicle is acting silly, right? Because I mean the sensor is good, so it got to be the bearings. So let's take it apart and do some inspection and see exactly what is causing this code to pop up. We got two bearings here, right? Came off the same truck, the 2012 Ford Ranger, right? Same size, same bore, same everything, right? Is the magnetic type where the speed sensor reads off the bearing and sends a message to the ABS, which translates that to the transmission and engine. Okay, it's the magnetic type. So you see, I got my tool here showing, that's magnetic. But I'm gonna show you the difference, right? Where they are not equal. So we got a roller type ball bearing setup here, and this one is a taper type roller bearing. So this was on the left, this was on the right, and basically the car was flagging a U2300 code and also a C0034 code, right? Basically data invalid, right? And this is exactly why it was, because they had on the incorrect bearing on this vehicle. All right, so you gotta make sure that you have the correct bearing on your truck or your pickup or whatever you're driving, right? It could be a tank. You gotta make sure you have the correct thing, as these sensors definitely gonna pick it up, right?
2 hours later.
So you see, I don't have the check engine light on and the ABS light on no more. That's letting you know that what we did fix this vehicle. So I just gotta do adaptation setup with the scan tool and take this vehicle for a run. But I definitely believe that what we did here is fixes, right? So you have to ensure that you have one of the correct bearings on the vehicle, especially the ones that has that magnetic ring that the ABS reads off of. It's very sensitive, you dig? I mean, you also gotta ensure that you clean that surface area really good, because any particles that's breaking off, it will be lodged onto the sensor and it will give off a bad reading. So yeah, this was a good one, you dig? Ensure that you got the right parts on, and guys who own shops, do the right thing, just dig a little deeper and you may figure out exactly what's going on. Yeah, so see how this vehicle is. No check engine light, no ABS light, the vehicle is definitely performing. Right, so I believe this is definitely a fix. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, hit that bell notification, leave a thumbs up if you like this video, leave a thumbs down if you don't, but I believe that you're going to like this video, so leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down in the box. Right, until next time, gotta take it easy, be safe out there, ensure that your mechanic do the right thing, and customers, don't be afraid to ask questions. The more you know, better for you. Until next time, peace.